Hi, Stephanie. Good evening.
Hi, Stephanie. Great to see you. Welcome back. Welcome, Stephanie.
Stephanie's on her way up. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Chris.
Toy, toy, toy.
Good evening. I am Stephanie Jung, the Chicago Symphony Orchestra's Associate Concertmaster. There are just a few of us here at Orchestra Hall tonight. We are in this space which was designed to be filled with many people, all sharing the love of music. Daniel Burnham certainly had not anticipated this great space would sit silent and empty for months on end. I was 12 when I first performed here, and I have been with the CSO for just shy of a decade. But this place, even still, is inspiring, and it is made even more profound by the performances that have lived here. When I perform, everything else fades into the background. There is nothing more than the music and the moment. Music is something we can use to escape, but also something we can use to process our lives and events around us. In both times of peace and trouble, it is there to help us discover beauty even in struggle. During every performance, our goal is to transform and uplift you, our city, and our world. And I know that we can share peace in this moment together even while you're watching and listening at home. Tonight, during this extraordinary time in this amazing city and from inside this sacred hall, I ask you to join me in harmony and in time to pause what busies our minds and instead remember what it is like for you to sit in this room with hearts and minds hungry for music. So, on behalf of the Chicago Symphony Orchestra Association Women's Board and our entire symphony family, thank you for your generosity and the unparalleled support that has helped us in a most unusual moment in our 130-year history. Please welcome back these familiar faces of our great CSO brass section: David Cooper, Mark Ridenour, Michael Mulcahy, Jean Picorni, and John Hagstrom performing the march from Verne Reynolds' Suite for Brass, written in 1963.
I'm Catherine Brubaker, and I play viola.
So in June, we were able to film a concert in my backyard. It was the first time that I'd been able to actually physically get together with colleagues and play with each other. It's better than not being here, but it's not the same. We need the audience. Without the audience, our product is only half of what it's supposed to be. I joined the orchestra in 1989. I chose to try to make a career in an orchestra because I love sitting in the middle of the orchestra and feeling it and being surrounded by the sound. I was raised in a musical family. My parents were both music educators and professionals, and my dad taught in the public schools. So when my dad passed away at the funeral, I do have a very strong memory of one of his past students came in the receiving line and introduced himself to all of the family and said that he saw the notice in the paper and he came because he remembered my dad so fondly because he had helped him learn how to play the violin. He didn't become a classical musician, but he had a respect for music, and my father was able to touch his life in that way. Classical music is not some elitist, untouchable thing. It's something that can touch anybody from any background, from all walks of life. As Maestro Muti likes to say, this is what makes us human.
Help support the Chicago Symphony Orchestra by texting Celebrate CSO to 41444. Follow the prompts to make your donation. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Odo Carrillo. I've been a member of the Chicago Symphony Orchestra horn section for 20 years. It feels so good to be sitting here in Symphony Center again. I cannot overstate it. I've been quarantined with my family, including 2 college-age children who, like most kids their age, are experiencing the challenges of hybrid learning. I've been teaching my DePaul University students, woodworking, playing alley basketball on my portable hoop, and playing a lot of pool. I'm married to a professional trumpet player, and twice she and I have played at small functions, but nothing will compare to when we are back here all together again. I had the honor of hearing our next guest perform with the orchestra in numerous pieces from Beethoven's Ninth Symphony to Verdi's Aida. Hearing him from the stage in those memorable performances was always a delight. He applies his vocal talents across the spectrum of genres, from orchestral to operatic, from classical to contemporary. Joining us from Houston, we welcome a member of our extended CSO family, bass baritone Eric Owens.
My colleagues and fellow orchestra members and the chorus and soloists, we're missing performing quite a bit. Wish we could be there with the Chicago Symphony, making glorious music together in that amazing hall. I've been a lover of classical music since the age of 6, and it has changed my life for the better just tremendously. I had the honor of going to the Illinois Youth Center to perform with the young people there, with Maestro Muti and a good friend, Joyce DiDonato. It's always a pleasure to work with them. I sang a spiritual called Deep River, which is one of my favorite spirituals, about crossing over the River Jordan to a better existence. And that idea of these young people, when they get out, that they could maybe cross that threshold into a better existence. It was something that spoke to me. When we first start to perform, there may be young people giggling because they don't necessarily understand what it is that they're hearing. But once I explain to them, an opera singer sings without microphone, and that the human voice, the original instrument, can do this, and the training that it takes, those giggles change into smiles. Yeah, we're living in some difficult times, but we still have music. And anytime I listen to music, I hearken back to maybe a time when I performed that music, and I can feel the joy that I had performing that music with wonderful, wonderful collaborators. And that keeps me going, know that we will be back. And oh, how joyous that day will be when it comes. I can't wait to be back with you all.
The collaboration of ideas, having someone else amplifying what you are doing, is an essential part of the growth of a musician. The Nagani Music Institute was formed to capture this reciprocity and take it a step further to shepherd the emergence of talent. It is about active listening, guidance, and encouragement. The Institute reaches over 200,000 people annually, training young musicians for a life of performing and enriching their communities through music. And as an alumni of the Civic Orchestra of Chicago, I can tell you personally how important these programs are. The focus of the Institute centers on access and education and encapsulates the fundamental principles that make us so proud to be a part of the Chicago Symphony Orchestra family. Here's a glimpse at some of the important work we do outside these walls.
Music equalizes the elements in society that need a little boost. It's a communal activity. And to see that effect in so many places is actually quite inspiring.
When I was growing up, I came to hear the CSO quite often, and also the Civic Orchestra of Chicago. We sat in the back of the terrace, and every single time that I get the opportunity to play on stage, I look back at that seat.
Being able to study with Chicago Symphony musicians really catapulted my career. I love having come full circle now and being a Civic horn coach.
I started coming to the children's concerts when I was 2 or 3. It was exciting. Orchestra Hall is really pretty and inspiring.
It was very cool to bring my child into the space and for his eyes to light up. He's a percussionist, so for him to be able to look at the timpanis and everything that's happening from that view, he was just so excited.
Seeing the percussionists play is really exciting, seeing them crashing the cymbals and rolling on the timpanis.
We engage with communities across the city in a variety of ways. We're playing monthly orchestral concerts for free.
We played in retirement homes. We played at food pantries.
We've also worked with women's shelters and after-school programs for immigrants.
We're going to be working with Purpose Over Pain, which is a group of families who have lost children to gun violence. We're going to be interviewing and meeting the parents, and the result is going to be these personal pieces of music related to telling their stories.
This was not what I was expecting. It wasn't. I'm just completely blown away by this. And now it's a song. That's amazing to me.
It was unforgettable that so many wonderful, talented people could come together and make such a beautiful, meaningful song.
We were gifted such incredible stories, and I hope we were successful in that. Sorry.
We as human beings can learn, can do music anywhere in the world, you know? It doesn't matter what age, what's your culture, your economic system. It doesn't matter anything. Anybody can learn music.
Our next performer has been called a force of positive energy and optimism. He's most recently been guiding fans of classical music through the 2-year Bach project, traveling over 6 continents to bring messages of inclusion and hope. He is an example of excellence, one who has humbly leveraged his own success to benefit others, challenging traditional frameworks and insisting that music be a catalyst for positive, lasting change. In this challenging time, he's a great example of a musician who utilizes his craft to unite, inspire, and heal. Please welcome Yo-Yo Ma.
Good evening. I'm Yo-Yo Ma, and I am so happy to welcome you to tonight's wonderful gala celebrating the work of the Chicago Symphony Orchestra and the Nagani Institute. So before I tell you why I love the Chicago Symphony so much, I want to show you a little video, and I hope you like it. Okay, so what you heard was Dvorak's Songs My Mother Taught Me. The person I was playing with, the people I was playing with, actually it's just one person, I met just in March, just before the pandemic, the last time I performed with the Civic Orchestra celebrating their anniversary. So I looked in the cello section, and there was this bright-eyed young lady, Dara Hankins, who is so into the music. I said to her after a rehearsal, I said, look, if, you obviously do a lot more than play the cello, you're interested, so it seems like you're interested in a lot of things. If ever you want to do something, here's my email, or call me. And guess what? A month later, she sent me this video. And I thought, my goodness, she just arranged all this music and put it together. And so I played that solo line that you heard tonight. And I thought, this is why I love the Civic Orchestra, the Nagani Institute, and the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, because together you have the mentors, the mentees, and the talent that Chicago has. And this is not just a cultural organization. This is part of the city. It's part of the history of the United States. As you all know, in 1893, you had the Columbian Exposition. And Dvorak came. So did Scott Joplin. Dvorak is part of the history of one of the great events of Chicago. And so imagine my surprise when 3 summers ago, I was at a music festival at Tanglewood, at the Tanglewood Music Institute. I met another young cellist who was very talented. He was playing principal cello in the orchestra. And I talked to him a little bit, and he later introduced me to this next piece that you're going to hear. It's a spiritual. Nobody Knows the Trouble I've Seen, that was arranged by the great Harry Burleigh, great singer, composer, musician. Turns out Harry Burleigh was a student of Antonin Dvorak. And Dvorak heard him singing in the hallway, and Harry was the one that introduced Dvorak to spirituals, which led Dvorak to say, this noble music is so great. It can represent the soul of this country. Now, what is strange, and this is what makes it so personal, is that Harry Burleigh was, for 50 years, a member of the St. George Episcopal Church, singing there for 50 years. And the person who cast the deciding vote, because a lot of people didn't want him to be a member of the congregation, was none other than J.P. Morgan. So, but Harry Burleigh himself taught some of the great singers of the day, including Paul Robeson. And one of his students actually was my father-in-law's teacher. So I'm connected to Dvorak. How do you like that? So you will hear the spiritual, and you will hear the arrangement of a piece that you all know, made by another student of Antonin Dvorak. I hope you enjoy. I love Chicago.
Help support the Chicago Symphony Orchestra by texting Celebrate CSO to 41444. Follow the prompts to make your donation. Thank you.
Good evening. I am Missy Mazzoli, the Mead Composer-in-Residence of the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. It has been my honor to curate the Music Now concert series for the last 2 years and to have the opportunity to showcase new and often underrepresented voices of contemporary classical music. I'm thrilled to be here to work with such an esteemed organization, and I'm so grateful that you are here with us tonight. Like so many of us, I'm used to a frantic schedule and a rapid pace of performance, collaboration, and action where every day is different. This has been a rare opportunity to pause and reset, but also to continue to investigate how music affects us and defines our experiences. Our next performer, Cynthia Yeh, is a frequent featured artist on our Music Now series. She came to the CSO 13 years ago and holds the principal percussion chair. She is a dedicated educator and a sought-after performer across the globe. Tonight, Cynthia is playing a work by Elden Buster Bailey for xylophone from the composer's book, Mental and Manual Calisthenics for the Modern Mallet Player. Here is Cynthia Yeh performing Buster Bailey's Two Sticks in Search of a Waltz.
Hey there, Miles Maynor here. I've been a bassoonist and contrabassoonist with the Chicago Symphony Orchestra since 2013. Before this pandemic, I had a great routine going, walking to work, rehearsing, performing with the CSO, inviting my family to see the orchestra here at Symphony Center, and then abruptly, all of that stopped. For well over 100 years, Orchestra Hall has been a shining cultural beacon of our city. And for a few months this year, that beacon had to go dark. During the shutdown, I've tried to stay positive and creative with my downtime. While at home, I've filled my days with online get-togethers with family, playing lots of disc golf, and of course, practicing the bassoon. All good things, but I did find that nothing quite replaced the excitement of performing. So I took to recording some music and sharing it online. In one of my quarantine videos, I performed a bassoon trio with myself, a Polonaise by Julius Weisenborn. If you haven't seen the full video yet, please check it out. Like many of you, I've been spending a ridiculous amount of time online in meetings, dealing with the regular old adulting, as well as teaching bassoon lessons. One of my students is a particularly confident bassoonist. He calls himself the Bassoon King, and he recently challenged me to a bassoon battle. Naturally, I accepted, and here is what happened.
Hey, Miles, how's it going?
Rainn, we haven't talked in forever, buddy.
It's been a long time. How are you? How's everything in Chicago?
Everything's great, man. Anytime I got my bassoon out, everything's great. I see you got your bassoon out. I'm sure you do that every day.
Well, you know, it's, what else am I gonna wear around my neck? A gold chain? I see you're reading something back there. What's that over your right shoulder?
Oh, yeah. I picked this book up because, I like to read things that remind me of myself. And so I thought, Bassoon King? Does that need explanation? Probably not. So, yeah.
Well,
nice job with this book, by the way.
As the Bassoon King, feel free to hail me as the Bassoon King.
That's exactly what I was going to say, actually. So that's interesting. That's what you think you are. That's interesting.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm the Bassoon King, so obviously you can say all hail or
Right. Yeah. So
seriously?
There's that. Just so
seriously? Okay, Maynard, this is how this is going to go down. I am challenging you to a duel to the death. And then I will supplant you as the Bassoon King, and I will take your chair as first chair bassoonist for Chicago Symphony Orchestra. Accept my challenge.
I absolutely accept. Let's do this. I got my bassoon right here.
No. I'm not talking about playing the bassoon. I'm talking about a duel, where instead of broadswords, we have bassoons.
Yeah, well, I think because it's important to social distance, maybe I could just, play a little something. You play a little something, we feel it out a little bit, and then, the difficulty rises and one of us may fall.
Okay, let's do this.
Okay, yeah.
The bassoon challenge.
Yeah.
The winner is the Bassoon King.
Yeah, I'll go real slow for you, Bassoon King. Okay.
Okay, let's see what you got. Let's see what you got, big boy. Come on.
There's a lot of subtlety to what I just did. Oh, Okay.
Let's go. Come on. Let's see what you got.
How about that? You got that flavor? Oh, God. Okay, how about a little bit of Mozart? You got Mozart, baby?
A little bit. A little Charlie Parker. Maynard. That's it. I am the king. I am the Bassoon King, obviously. And I am coming to Chicago. I will dethrone you, and I will make you eat my... What's this thing called again? Bocal. I'm going to make you eat my bocal.
I think the results are clear. I think congratulations are in order. You're really far away wherever you are in your gigantic Los Angeles mansion. But have one of your drivers come to Chicago with you in tow, and you've always got a chair here, man. You've always
Excellent.
got a chair.
Thank you, as it should be. As it should be. Thank you so much. Good luck with your little fundraiser. Good luck with your little online orchestra thing. If you ever need a full bassoon solo, I can go for like an hour and a half straight.
Thank you. Thank you for teaching me.
Thanks for making my dreams come true and the dreams of every young bassoonist across this country. God bless you.
I don't know if I can get this. Can I get this on your...
Here. So long, everybody. Have fun, Chicago.
Performing with the orchestra is like going on the world's best roller coaster. We come in, we sit down, and then the person at the controls says, here we go. That's the maestro getting onto the podium, picking up his baton, cueing us. The music starts, the roller coaster moves, and there are those peaks and those valleys where things calm down a little bit and you feel the music building up. Right to the point where you get to the end, and you finish, you're out of breath, the audience starts applauding. In February for the Cavalleria Rusticana that we did. And it's the strangest thing, when you finish that final performance, the last thing you're thinking of is that I'm not going to be back here for 7 or 8 months. Today was the first time that I actually got to walk into Orchestra Hall. As eerily quiet as it was, I was instantly taken back to all of those performances. I gave myself a mental picture of imagining that the orchestra was there, the maestro was there, that the chorus was in there, and that we were all performing. And I turned around and looked into the house and just imagined that it was a full house again. I think when patrons and donors and all members of the audience and the chorus and the orchestra can come back, I think it's that first performance, whether it's with chorus or whether it's just with the orchestra as well, is going to be one of the most exciting days, because I know that the people that are going to be there are going to be there because they want to be there, because they've missed this, because it is an essential part of their lives, just as it is with ours.
Help support the Chicago Symphony Orchestra by texting Celebrate CSO to 41444. Follow the prompts to make your donation. Thank you.
I'm Jeff Alexander, President of the Chicago Symphony Orchestra Association. The programs and activities of the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, Chicago Symphony Chorus, Civic Orchestra of Chicago, the Symphony Center Presents series, and our education wing, the Nagani Music Institute, are an inspiration every year to millions of people in Chicago, across the country, and around the world. This year, we have been forced to reevaluate and re-engage in new and yet very meaningful ways. As a result, we have witnessed a capacity for resilience and a renewed commitment to serving the community that is truly inspiring. We are grateful to Northern Trust, the presenting sponsor of this important fundraising event. They have been a steadfast partner since the founding of the orchestra in anticipation of the 1893 World Columbian Exposition. We also are most appreciative of the commitment and vision of Ruthie Ryan and Cynthia Scholl, event co-chairs, Shelley Oshab, president, and all of the members of the CSOA Women's Board, and Robert Cole, our Board of Trustees event co-chair. We are grateful to and applaud the musicians of the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, Chicago Symphony Chorus, the members of the administrative staff, and all of the guest artists who have made tonight possible. And we thank the Chicago Symphony Orchestra Association trustees and life trustees, our governing members, individual donors, corporate sponsors, and all of you watching for your generous support through pre-sales and our Text to Give opportunity. Because of your generosity, we can continue to support this institution which nurtures music, musicians, and audiences of all generations, backgrounds, and experience. Though the access to live music has changed this year, the impact has not. And tonight's celebration is a testament to that. It gives me great pleasure at this time to welcome the Zell Music Director of the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, whose 10th anniversary with the CSO we celebrated last season, and whose concerts, recordings, and radio broadcasts with the CSO are always such a joy to experience. Maestro Riccardo Muti.
We are fine here. I'm doing my concerts, but I want to do the concerts with my people. This is the first time that something like this happens in my life and in the world, I think. You know, many times we had in the past other kind of virus, but always culture was kept alive. Fortunately, we have a much better situation in Chicago. Also, people that are much more inclined to support culture because they are still supporting the musicians, and this is very good. This is very important. Waiting until the orchestra can be together again. But my family, musical family, is the Chicago Symphony. So practically, I am a sort of father without the family around, no? And so I miss them enormously, and cannot think about the emotion that we all will have when one day we will get together again, and the first sound of a great orchestra like the Chicago Symphony will resonate in the hall. I think that will be like a miracle, because not only music can be played together, but the feelings of every person, will get together and will create something really magic, and you will feel the importance of the music as harmony and as beauty.
Thank you, Maestro Muti. We look forward to welcoming you back to Symphony Center very soon. After facing the horrors of World War I firsthand, composer Maurice Ravel returned to Paris, the de facto cultural center of the world at the time. In literature, the visual arts, and music, the taste for the avant-garde prevailed, and Ravel was certainly not immune to these seismic shifts. His sonata for violin and cello exhibits the path-breaking modernist techniques that Ravel was eagerly exploring, along with other iconoclasts of the time. However, the sonata was actually composed in honor of the memory of groundbreaking French composer Claude Debussy. Ravel considered this work a turning point in his career for its stark restraint and departure from standard harmony. The result is music that is exhilarating, particularly the athletic final movement, which you will now have the pleasure of hearing CSO concertmaster Robert Chen and principal cello John Sharp perform. Enjoy this taste of the Roaring Twenties, or as the French say, les années folles.
I'm Wynton Marsalis, and I'm here in New York, wishing we could all be together at Symphony Center to celebrate and support the fabulous Chicago Symphony Orchestra. The orchestra, Maestro Muti, the board of directors, supporters, and staff are deeply dedicated to artistic excellence, and they do everything with the utmost integrity. This commitment inspires everything that they do, and the CSO lifts the community. It's so inspiring. They've welcomed me as a composer, a musician, an educator, and also a friend for over 2 decades. We've created unique and special collaborations down through the years, including playing my first symphony, All Rise, pictures at an exhibition. We got to sit underneath all that magnificent brass. Have mercy. And I just can't wait till we're able to gather again, and I will see you then. Much love. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mitsuko Uchida. I play the piano, and I'm sitting in my studio in London, and I'm thinking of the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. It is just so lucky to have a relationship with such a great orchestra. I don't know every single person, nor do I know everybody that well, and yet I feel they are all my friends. It's as if it were a family. So I just wanted to say that. And also, I so look forward to my next appearance with the Chicago that will be in 2022. Then this COVID thing will be over, and I can't wait for that. Thank you so much, and everybody stay well. Bye. Bye-bye.
Hi, everyone. I'm Hilary Hahn, and I'm in the quietest room in my house. Symphony Center, the first time I played there, was a little bit intimidating because it's so famous, and I was a young performer. I remember just feeling so welcomed, and that really helped me to ease into the experience. And now I've played at Symphony Center many times. When I hear the CSO, I feel grateful for the musicians who play in it and for the community and patrons who support the orchestra's work. Every note is a symbol of thousands of people who believe in their orchestra, and the momentum, commitment, and care that's required to put on an entire concert is a testament to the vitality of the CSO.
Hi, I'm Herbie Hancock. Yep, I'm a homie, born and raised in Chicago. And as some of you may know, I've been performing on the stage of Orchestra Hall for almost 70 years, since my debut with the CSO when I was 11 years old, way back in 1952. Through my many performances with the orchestra and on the Symphony Center Presents Jazz series, that stage feels like my Chicago home away from home. And I can't wait to get back there and perform for you. Greetings to all of my fans there in Chicago, and especially to my classmates and friends at Hyde Park Academy High School. And best to the Chicago Symphony Orchestra on this very special night.
Hello, I'm Anita Rachvelishvili. My first collaboration with Chicago Symphony was unbelievably beautiful, incredible, unforgettable. And Chicago Symphony is one of the best orchestras in the world. The sound this orchestra can produce, the way they feel the music, they perform music, any kind of music, is really unbelievable. And there is really not a lot of orchestras in the world like that. I miss working with that beautiful orchestra because it's really unique as an experience. Unique as an experience to work together with Maestro Muti and the orchestra. I love you, Chicago Symphony Orchestra. I miss you very much and sending you lots of love. Stay safe, stay together, and take care of each other. Much love from Milan.
Hello, dear friends and supporters of the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. This is Anne-Sophie Mutter from Munich. I'm sending my warmest greetings to Chicago on an evening where your support and your love and dedication is more important than ever, because it will be a sign of empathy for us musicians. It will be a sign and a hopeful signal for the future. I made my debut in Chicago in 1980. So this year is also a year of reflection. It should have been a year of celebration of Beethoven, also in Chicago. But let's be grateful for the many wonderful and memorable evenings this amazing orchestra has given us. Music is a present. It's a present to us musicians because it's a wonderful way of communication. It is there for us in moments of great sorrow, but music is also there for us in moments of great joy. Thank you very much for your support, and hopefully soon we will hear this amazing orchestra. Chicago Symphony, yeah!
I'm Jim Smelser. I play second horn in the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. First time I played in the orchestra was in March of 1986. You'll never forget your first time playing here. You go through your whole training, gearing up for something. You don't know exactly where you will end up, but in a way you never dreamed that you'll be able to be in the Chicago Symphony. When you're on stage, you're playing your part, you're doing your best to listen to your colleagues, but you're acutely aware that you're part of a huge process of putting the music out to the audience. You're always aware of the audience and the energy and how they feel and the excitement that they have. When I don't play in the orchestra, if there's a week in the regular season, I'll always go and hear my colleagues play. But quickly, I'm just with the audience, I'm just one of them, and it's amazing how the orchestra sounds, how we all mix and can blend together. We have an amazing list of donors who support us, not just our individual concerts by coming, but give above and beyond to help the orchestra and the whole association. And without them, we wouldn't have survived during this tough time. It just wouldn't be possible. When we are able to finally get back together, it's really going to be great. I mean, all of our colleagues and our familiar faces in the audience, and we hope new ones. It's going to be so special to hear the music that we've been playing all these years, and with a new energy and passion to hear and see what we've been missing.
Help support the Chicago Symphony Orchestra by texting Celebrate CSO to 41444. Follow the prompts to make your donation. Thank you.
I've been a soprano with the Chicago Symphony Chorus for 10 years. It is a vigorous, demanding, and absolutely amazing experience that I love and miss dearly. There's nothing like stepping on the stage and having everyone focused, breathing as one. I love the process of gathering individuals together to create and convey one unified story, one powerful idea. It's such a joy. And I have learned that even when circumstances are keeping us apart, like they are now, we can come together and create something beautiful. A thriving arts organization like the CSO is the sign of a great society and is so meaningful to me personally. Music unites us through a common language, challenging us and inspiring us to see beyond ourselves and foster growth throughout our communities. When everything closes down, we have to work that much harder to keep ourselves open and connected to one another. We are a family, and this hall is our house. But the music and the people like you watching make this our home. And even after 130 years, we are poised and ready to return to the stage. Long regarded as Beethoven's greatest achievement, his Ninth Symphony utilizes all the subtlety and mastery of the composer's craft. In this final movement, sound is literally given voice. And so we close this evening with this unforgettably moving music and a visual review of some rarely seen images of the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. Enjoy.